Dive into the enigmatic world of Enoch. Uncover the tale of fallen angels, fearsome giants eating humans, and divine retribution. We'll also explore ancient myths that influence the Enoch story, revealing a time when celestial beings walked the earth. Subscribe for a captivating journey into history with ancient mysteries unveiled.
The Book of Watchers. Imagine a book so ancient, it could be your history teacher's favorite bedtime story. That's one Enoch for you, a venerable text from the Hebrew apocalyptic genre. It's traditionally credited to the all-star biblical figure Enoch. Yes, the very one who was Methuselah's dad and Noah's great-grandpa. Talk about a family tree with deep roots. But what's inside this ancient manuscript? It's like the ultimate supernatural expose. If you've ever lain awake at night pondering where demons and those mysterious Nephilim characters originated, one Enoch has some answers that could turn your nightmares into, well, slightly less scary nightmares. Then there's the scoop on why some angels got the boot from heaven. It's like a divine reality show where not everyone gets a halo at the end. And if you're into biblical blockbusters, the Book of Enoch dives into the backstory of the Genesis flood. Spoiler alert, it's not just about a big boat and a lot of rain. It's more like a cosmic cleanup operation with immoral overtones. But wait, there's more. The book also features a sneak peek into the future with a 1,000-year reign of the Messiah. It's a long-term forecast that makes your weather app look downright short-sighted. In short, one Enoch is a mix of ancient wisdom, celestial secrets, and divine drama, all rolled into one. It's the kind of read that makes you wonder if the ancients had their own version of a blockbuster movie script stashed away in the scrolls. Think of a time when the Enochian material was the equivalent of a bestseller, outshining even the likes of Ruth and First Chronicles in the Hebrew Bible. This was during the bustling Second Temple period around the time of the Maccabean Revolt and the Hasmonean dynasty. It's like finding out that a deep cut from a classic album was actually a chart topper in its day. This should tip us off to how big a deal these writings were for many folks in Judea. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. First, you need the lowdown on Enoch. Enoch was basically the biblical equivalent of your great-great-great-great-great-great-grandpa, being the seventh in line from Adam. He had a pretty impressive run, clocking in at 365 years, and then, plot twist, he was whisked away by God, as per Genesis. This was just a few curtain calls before the Great Flood, God's drastic measure against humanity's naughtiness. Now here's where it gets a bit sci-fi. Imagine divine beings coming down to Earth, getting starry-eyed over mortal women, and resulting in a bunch of giant offspring. It's like a crossover episode featuring characters like Hercules and Gilgamesh. The Genesis narrative, however, is a bit stingy on details about these larger-than-life figures and their divine dads. Flood myths are like the ancient world's version of a viral trend, popping up in cultures far and wide. Enter the Enochian texts, adding layers and intrigue to this familiar plot. In these writings, Enoch, a sort of ancient VIP, gives us the inside scoop on what led to the big flood, and even teases about the world's grand finale under a messianic ruler. The guy had a few heavenly encounters, which makes him quite the enigmatic figure. So in the grand tapestry of ancient tales, the Enochian texts are like those hidden gems that shed new light on well-worn stories, making them fresh and fascinating all over again. Let's delve into the enigmatic realm of the Book of Watchers, a mesmerizing segment of the ancient text, one Enoch. This section has long captivated scholars with its extraordinary and peculiar narratives. Our journey through its pages reveals the descent of the Watchers, fallen angels, whose arrival on Earth irrevocably altered human destiny. These celestial entities not only mingled with humanity, but also shared forbidden knowledge, leading to the emergence of the Nephilim, colossal beings of unparalleled strength and ferociousness, with legends suggesting they consumed humans and caused chaos worldwide. As we probe further, we encounter stories steeped in dark magic and mysticism, where the Watchers impart esoteric knowledge to humanity. They unveil the mysteries of astrology, herbology, and spellcasting, thus eroding the boundaries between the sacred and the profane. This infusion of hidden knowledge plunges the world into turmoil, marked by otherworldly occurrences and ethical decay, culminating in a scenario ripe for divine judgment and visions of apocalypse. Our documentary navigates these remarkable aspects within the Book of Watchers: the descent of angels, the birth of giants, the dissemination of arcane knowledge, and the ensuing heavenly judgment. This ancient narrative provides a fascinating glimpse into early Judaic cosmology, angelology, and the foundations of apocalyptic literature. It invites audiences to reflect on the profound influence these mythological stories have on our perception of the divine, the monstrous, and the very nature of human curiosity and exploration. Enoch's mythical roots. The figure of Enoch, long shadowed in the annals of religious history, demands a closer look, more discerning look, especially to unravel the depths of Jewish and Christian thought. His significance, often understated, is crucial for a comprehensive understanding of the evolution of Jewish ideology during the Second Temple period. Our conventional perceptions of Enoch in the Bible, largely shaped by subsequent developments in religious canon and scripture, might need a serious reevaluation. Traditionally, distinctions between what is considered biblical and extra-biblical, sectarian and non-sectarian, canonical and non-canonical, or even Hebrew and Greek have dominated our understanding. However, our exploration into Enoch's narrative suggests a more intricate tapestry of influences and origins. Our last documentary on Enoch casts a revealing light on this enigmatic character, drawing striking parallels with the ancient Adapa myth from Mesopotamia. Adapa, a figure steeped in Mesopotamian mythology, was renowned for his exceptional wisdom, serving as a sage or priest in Ea's temple, Ea being the deity of wisdom and magic in Eridu, one of the ancient Mesopotamians' oldest cities. Adapa embodies the archetype of the wise yet mortal man. In some renditions of the myth, Ea is portrayed as Adapa's father or creator, symbolizing a profound bond between the deity and his enlightened human servant. While Ea endows Adapa with unparalleled wisdom, he does not grant him eternal life. This aspect of the myth accentuates a crucial dichotomy: the divine bestowal of wisdom juxtaposed with the inherent limitations of human mortality. Adapa's narrative, especially his celestial voyage and encounters with the gods, mirrors the intricacies and contradictions inherent in the divine-human relationship as perceived in Mesopotamian lore. This backdrop provides a compelling context to re-examine Enoch's story, hinting at a profound, perhaps previously overlooked, intercultural exchange that shaped early religious thought. In performing his duties, Adapa found himself fishing on the Tigris River. A violent storm provoked by a fierce wind overturned his boat. In response, Adapa, in a fit of anger, shattered the wings of the south wind, halting its gusts for a week. This act drew the attention of Anu, the deity who summoned Adapa to explain his actions. However, Ea, another god, provided guidance to Adapa, advising him to win over Dumuzid and Gishzida, the celestial gatekeepers, and to abstain from consuming food or drink in the heavens, warning that such substance could be lethal. Adapa, donning attire symbolic of grief, conveyed to Dumuzid and Gishzida that their absence had plunged the land into mourning. In heaven, he was presented with the food of life and the water of life, but he refused them as instructed by Ea. He also accepted garments and oil, using them as advised. When brought before Anu, Adapa explained his refusal to partake in the heavenly banquet, attributing his caution to Ea's counsel. Anu, amused by Ea's machinations, rhetorically questioned what harm Adapa had inflicted upon humanity. He then declared that human beings would endure diseases, though these could be mitigated by the goddess Ninkarak. After this judgment, Adapa was returned to the earth. This myth of Adapa from the Old Babylonian period, circa 1894 BCE to 1595 BCE, to the Neo-Assyrian version, dating to circa 750 BCE, introduces an exorcistic procedure. It repeats that Adapa went to heaven and saw all its secrets. Though still a human being, he thus gained divine knowledge. Adapa's heavenly knowledge is invoked as a means to cure disease. His wisdom is no ordinary wisdom. It has its source in heaven. We could see how this myth sets up the heavenly or divine mediator myths of Moses and Enoch. We can see Adam and Eve written all over this myth as well. It's no coincidence that all of these figures, Adam, Enoch, and Noah, are all primordial characters existing around the beginning of creation. Enki, aka Ea, tricked Adapa, but he did so knowing the gift of godly wisdom would have remained in heaven with the rest of the deities away from the rest of humanity if he would have ate the food and drink of life, which he was told would kill him. This really makes one think about Yahweh and Adam in the Garden of Eden. Just as Utnapishtim was separated from the rest of humanity by the gods after being granted immortality and surviving the flood, Adapa would have suffered the same fate, and Enki knew it. Now that Adapa has the gods' wisdom, he can also come back to humanity and teach them the ways of the gods. So just as Adapa was summoned before Anu, Adam was summoned before Yahweh to answer for their transgressions. Both stories hint at food causing death, and both were tricked into thinking the food would kill them, one with Ea and the other with Yahweh. We see priests in Babylon proclaim, "I am Adapa," as incantations, and Judean sectarian scribes claim to have received Enoch's forms of knowledge. These central figures, Adapa and Enoch, are mediators between the divine and mortal realm, and it was during the Persian era we see linguistic Aramaic culture dominant, with which both Babylonian and Judeans participate in. This explains how the Enochian figure was created. In the ancient shadows of Greek mythology, a tale as old as time itself unfolds, first chronicled by the 8th century BCE bard Hesiod in his epic Theogony. Here we meet Prometheus, offspring of the titan Iapetus, and either Clymene or Asia, an Oceanid. He stands alongside his brothers Menetius, Atlas, and Epimetheus in a lineage of mythic proportions. Hesiod paints Prometheus as a cunning figure, daring to challenge the all-knowing, all-powerful Zeus. The scene is set at Mycone, a pivotal moment where gods and mortals negotiate their coexistence. Prometheus, master of guile, presents Zeus with a deceptive choice: nourishing beef concealed within an ox's stomach, symbolizing a valuable essence hidden by an unappealing guise, and mere bones, deceptively cloaked in a tantalizing fat. Zeus, in his choice, unknowingly decrees a lasting tradition for sacrificial offerings. Humans would feast on meat, offering only the fat-wrapped bones to the divine. This trickery, however, incurs Zeus's wrath, leading him to conceal the secret of fire from mankind. In a daring act of defiance, Prometheus reclaims this elemental power, entrapping it within a fennel stalk to illuminate humanity once more. This rebellion ignites further fury in Zeus, who introduces a beguiling, shy maiden crafted from clay by Hephaestus and adorned by Athena into the world of men. This maiden, Pandora, though unnamed by Hesiod, becomes the progenitor of a lineage that brings both delight and despair to mortal men. For his transgressions, Prometheus endures a punishment of eternal torment. Bound in chains, his immortal liver consumed daily by a Zeus-sent eagle, only to regenerate each night. It is not until the hero Heracles, sanctioned by Zeus, intervenes, slaying the eagle and liberating Prometheus from his perpetual agony, that this chapter of mythic history finds its closure. In the Greek myth retold by Hesiod in Works and Days, the story of Prometheus and the stolen fire gets even more interesting. Zeus is really upset with Prometheus for tricking him, so he decides to hide not just fire, but also the basic things people need to live. Hesiod suggests that if Prometheus hadn't made Zeus mad, life would have been super easy for humans, with plenty of food and no need to work hard. We can see Adam written all over this. In this version of the story, we also learn more about the first woman, made by the god Hephaestus from Earth earth and water. Her name is Pandora, which means all gifts. Zeus gets a bunch of other gods and goddesses like Athena, Aphrodite, and Hermes to help make Pandora special. But here's the catch. After Prometheus steals fire, Zeus sends Pandora to humans as a kind of punishment. Prometheus's brother, Epimetheus, ignores a warning and accepts Pandora. She comes with a jar, and when she opens it, all sorts of bad stuff like sorrow and diseases come out. Pandora quickly closes the jar, but it's too late to stop these things from spreading. The only thing left inside the jar is hope, because Zeus told Pandora to close it before hope could escape. This part of the story shows that even when things are tough, there's always a little bit of hope left. Pandora can be compared to Eve in Genesis, and you could see the punishment of diseases leading to death in this, as well as the earlier Adapa myth where Anu curses mankind with diseases. In the Prometheus myth, there was a heavenly war between the Greek gods and their parents, Titans. Prometheus, a Titan himself, uniquely managed to steer clear of the direct and cosmic clash between Zeus and the Olympians and Kronos with the other Titans. This battle, known as the Titanomachy, was a defining moment in Greek mythology, marking the struggle for supremacy between the old and new gods. Prometheus's decision to avoid involvement in this epic conflict sets him apart from his fellow Titans and played a crucial role in shaping his own legendary narrative within Greek mythology. In addition to giving humanity fire, Prometheus claims to have taught them the arts of civilization, such as writing, mathematics, agriculture, medicine, and science. The Titans' greatest benefaction for humanity seems to have been saving them from complete destruction, in an apparent twist on the myth of the so-called 5 ages of man found in Hesiod's Works and Days, wherein Kronos and later Zeus created and destroyed 5 successive races of humanity. Prometheus asserts that Zeus had wanted to obliterate the human race, but that he somehow stopped him, and just like the Sumerian myth of Enki or later Babylonian myth of Ea, Prometheus, the Titan from Greek mythology, may have been an influence to Enoch, as some scholars suggests. He was also a bringer of civilization who protected humanity against the other gods, including during the flood, as well as created man from clay. The oldest myth from which the ascent to heaven motif is seen is in the figure of Etana, but we covered that in the previous Enoch documentary and can potentially cover Etana in much greater length in a future Enoch documentary or a standalone video on his myth. I want to see comments. Let me know what you would like to see. Thanks for those comments. If you haven't seen the first documentary on Enoch, you really should do so after this documentary. I ask that you subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified every time I drop a new video. These videos will go deep and cover topics that the leading scholars in the world have written about deep in the tomes of libraries. These myths have shaped our civilizations and our imaginations, so I think it's extremely important we understand their origins and why humans wrote them. The Book of Enoch. The Book of Enoch, also known as 1 Enoch, is an ancient text rooted in Jewish apocalyptic literature, traditionally attributed to the biblical figure Enoch, the great-great-grandfather of Noah, though scholars have long realized Enoch never wrote it because Enoch didn't exist. This work delves into the origins of demons and the Nephilim, the reasons behind the fall of certain angels, the moral justification for the Genesis flood, and prophecies about the Messiah's 1,000-year reign. Alongside 1 Enoch, 2 other texts, 2 Enoch and 3 Enoch, are also ascribed to Enoch, though none are widely recognized as canonical in most Jewish or Christian denominations. Scholarly estimates place the oldest sections of 1 Enoch, particularly the Book of the Watchers, around 300 to 200 BCE, with the more recent parts, like the Book of Parables, dating to approximately 100 BCE. The original language of the text is believed to be either Aramaic or Hebrew, common languages for Jewish writings of the time. Ephraim Isaac, a notable scholar in this field, suggests that similar to the Book of Daniel, 1 Enoch might have been composed in both Aramaic and Hebrew. However, no complete Hebrew versions have survived. The existence of various Aramaic fragments among the Dead Sea Scrolls, as well as portions in Koine Greek and Latin, demonstrate the text's historical presence among Jews and early Christians in the Near Near East. Additionally, the book was referenced by some authors in the 1st and 2nd centuries, including in the Testament of the 12 Patriarchs. Its influence extends to the New Testament, where a brief excerpt from 1 Enoch 1:9 is cited in the Epistle of Jude. This particular passage, attributed to Enoch, the 7th from Adam, 1 Enoch 60 verse 8, is actually a midrash or interpretive commentary on Deuteronomy 33:2. Copies of the text's earlier sections were found among the Dead Sea Scrolls. Today, the complete Book of Enoch survives only in a translation into Ge'ez, an ancient Ethiopian language. It is recognized as canonical by the Ethiopian Jewish community, known as Beta Israel, and the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church, while other Jewish and Christian groups generally do not consider it canonical or divinely inspired. They often acknowledge its historical and theological significance. In a recent article written by James Natty and Seth Sanders, a very important observation must be made as we look at Enoch. The abstract to the article reads,
Recent scholarship on the Hebrew Bible and Second Temple Judaism has come to realize that there was no canon in the period in which this literature was produced. The division of this corpus into biblical versus non-post-biblical books represents a later theological claim, not one valid for early Judaism. It is an urgent task of contemporary scholarship to organize the corpus in more useful new ways, free of these misleadingly anachronistic assumptions. This issue of Metatron takes up the challenge of mapping this corpus according to different criteria, and it features a range of responses to how this collection ought to be imagined.
There was no Bible, in our sense, found at Qumran of a clear list of which books were sacred and authoritative. Later, in around the 300s to 400s CE, we see things like the Letter of Athanasius. Scholars like Michael Stone, James Vanderkam, and Robert Kraft have observed that the Qumran texts, which include early Jewish writings, don't adhere to the structure or order of the Hebrew Bible as it's known today. These texts often give precedence to other works, such as Enoch literature, which predates some of the biblical books like Daniel. Recent scholars, including Hindi Najman, Eva Marokshek, and Annette Yoshiko Reed, have furthered our understanding by challenging the traditional division between biblical and post-biblical texts, arguing these categories are historically inaccurate. However, to fully embrace this new perspective, academic inquiry must evolve beyond merely criticizing these outdated distinctions. It requires a fundamental rethinking of what constitutes biblical literature, integrating it with what has been previously termed post-biblical. If this change is confined only to the study of the Second Temple period, without affecting the broader field of Hebrew Bible studies, the old divisions will persist. Molly Zahn's work initiates this shift by proposing new analytical frameworks and comparisons that move beyond the outdated dichotomy of biblical and post-biblical literature. Those who shout the Book of Enoch down because Enoch isn't in their Bible are just limiting their understanding of this material. For those of the Christian persuasion, you may want to take a look at one of your cherished New Testament books that mention Enoch, the 7th from Adam, which is quoted in Jude 1:14 through 15.
And Enoch also, the 7th from Adam, prophesied of these, saying, Behold, the Lord cometh with 10,000s of his saints, to execute judgment upon all, and to convict all that are ungodly among them, of all their ungodly deeds, which they have ungodly committed, and of all their hard speeches which ungodly sinners have spoken against him.
Compare this with 1 Enoch 1:9, translated from the Ethiopic, found also in Qumran Scroll 4Q204.
And behold, he cometh with 10,000s of his saints to execute judgment upon all, and to destroy all the ungodly, and to convict all flesh of all the works of their ungodliness, which they have ungodly committed, and of all the hard things which ungodly sinners have spoken against him.
The original source for the 1 Enoch 1:9 passage may be Deuteronomy 33:2. He cometh with 10,000s of his holy ones. Jude seems to clearly have used Enoch, as several scholars have long noted. Jude even tells us Enoch is seventh from Adam, which isn't found in Genesis, but is seen in 1 Enoch, a much older book. The books of Hebrews, 1 Peter and 2 Peter also appear to contain Enoch material. This video isn't going to waste your time trying to build a solid case showing how the authors of some of the New Testament seem to be inspired by Enochian material. And just as the canon isn't a fixed ordeal on what is officially known as scripture, we will venture into the Enochian works, treating it as valuable texts, teaching us what Judeans around the 300s BCE onward were thinking about the world. Dr. Seth L. Sanders says the Enoch tradition grew in the Hellenistic period, late Antiquity, and Middle Ages. Enoch's structure. We know about the Jewish Torah, which consisted of 5 books: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. Well, there may have been some ancient drama here for your inquisitive minds. Professor Gabriel Boccaccini has postulated that 2 different Torahs were floating around in various Jewish communities. Our Torah that we have in our Bibles today, that centralizes Moses, was one, and the other priestly group had a Torah with Enoch as their centralized figure and a heavenly revealer. Both groups seem to wrestle over the temple in Jerusalem. Why bring this up? The reason is that 1 Enoch is divided up into 5 sections, just like the Torah is 5 books. It's possible 1 Enoch having 5 books may be anachronistic, being the books were written in different periods. Simply put, some scholars dispute this idea of Enoch being a competitive Torah in the earlier period in which the Book of the Watchers and the Book of the Luminaries was scribed. The Book of the Watchers, 1 Enoch 1 through 36, describes Enoch's journey. Enoch, a righteous man, is given heavenly visions. He sees the judgment of the fallen angels and the secrets of the universe, including the workings of the stars and the thunder. The fallen angels. This section tells the story of the fallen angels who descend to earth, marry human women, and beget giants. It describes their teachings of forbidden knowledge and their subsequent punishment. Enoch's intercession. Enoch acts as an intercessor between the fallen angels and God, though their plea for forgiveness is ultimately denied. The second book, which is the Book of Parables or Similitudes, 1 Enoch 37 through 71, discusses the Messianic kingdom. This part contains visions of a future Messianic kingdom, the coming judgment, and the fate of the righteous and wicked, the Son of Man. Enoch sees the Son of Man, a heavenly figure who is destined to judge the world. The third book, the Astronomical Book, 1 Enoch 72 to 82, discusses cosmic secrets. Enoch is taught about the movement of the heavenly bodies, understanding the order of the stars, the sun, and the moon. The fourth book, the Book of Dream Visions, 1 Enoch 83 to 90, discusses Enoch's dream. Enoch dreams of the history of Israel, symbolized by animals. This section allegorically covers the history from the creation to the Maccabean revolt. And the fifth book, the Epistle of Enoch, 1 Enoch 91 to 108. It discusses admonitions and warnings. This part includes Enoch's admonitions to his children and warnings about the sin and righteousness, with prophecies about the fate of the righteous and the wicked. In this documentary, we will focus on the Book of the Watchers, that is, from chapters 1 through 36. This book can be divided up into 4 sections to summarize the themes as such. Introduction to the Watchers, chapters 1 through 5. These opening chapters introduce Enoch and the context of his revelations. It includes visions of the end of the world and divine judgment. Enoch serves as an intermediary between heaven and earth. The Descent of the Watchers, chapters 6 through 11. This section narrates the story of the Watchers, a group of angels who descended to earth. They were captivated by human women and subsequently took them as wives, leading to the birth of the Nephilim, giants or mighty ones. Their actions disrupted the natural order, leading to widespread corruption and violence. Enoch's petition and journey, chapters 12 through 16. Enoch is approached by the fallen angels to intercede on their behalf with God. These chapters describe Enoch's journey through earth and Sheol, the underworld, witnessing the punishment of the fallen angels and the spirits of their offspring, visions of judgment and the cosmic tour. Chapter 17 through 36. Enoch receives visions of heaven and the secrets of the universe. These include descriptions of celestial storehouses, astronomical phenomena, and the workings of nature. The concept of cosmic geography is prominent, with Enoch visiting various heavens and otherworldly realms. The themes of divine judgment and the ultimate fate of the righteous and the wicked are elaborated upon. Throughout, the Book of the Watchers explores themes of divine justice, angelic rebellion, the interplay between spiritual and earthly realms, and the role of Enoch as a mediator and visionary. It has been influential in shaping Jewish mystical traditions as well as early Christian thought regarding angels, demons, and the end times. The Watcher's Secrets. Here's where things get tantalizingly interesting in the Book of Watchers. Picture this: a grand finale with an apocalyptic twist, where the good guys get their just rewards, inheriting the earth no less, while the baddies face imminent divine retribution. Sounds a bit like a celestial courtroom drama with a Jesus-esque flavor, doesn't it? But hold on, what kicked off this divine drama in the first place? Why would a deity consider a total planetary reboot, life wipe included, sparing only Noah and his crew? The book isn't just spinning a yarn, it's keen on giving you the inside scoop on why that infamous flood was more than just an act of divine temper tantrum.
The rebellion begins when the sons of men had multiplied. In those days, beautiful and comely daughters were born to them. And the watchers, the sons of heaven, saw them and desired them. And they said to one another, "Come, let us choose for ourselves wives from the daughters of men, and let us beget children for ourselves." And Shemihazar, their chief, said to them, "I fear that you will not want to do this deed, and I alone shall be guilty of a great sin." And they all answered him and said, "Let us all swear an oath, and let us all bind one another with a curse, that none of us turn back from this counsel until we fulfill it and do this deed." Then they all swore together and bound one another with a curse. And they were, all of them, 200, who descended in the days of Jared onto the peak of Mount Ehrman. And they called the mountain Ehrman, because they swore and bound one another with a curse on it. Enoch 6:1-7. These and all the others with them took for themselves wives from among them, such as they chose. And they began to go into them, and to defile themselves through them, and to teach them sorcery and charms, and to reveal to them the cutting of roots and plants. And they conceived from them and bore to them great giants. And the giants begot Nephilim, and to the Nephilim were born Liud plus. And they were growing in accordance with their greatness. They were devouring the labor of all the sons of men, and men were not able to supply them. And the giants began to kill men, and to devour them. And they began to sin against the birds and beasts and creeping things and the fish, and to devour one another's flesh, and they drank the blood. Then the earth brought accusation against the lawless ones. 1 Enoch 7:1-2.
Now we turn to the secrets the Watchers reveal.
Asael taught men to make swords of iron and weapons and shields and breastplates and every instrument of war. He showed them metals of the earth and how they should work gold to fashion it suitably, and concerning silver, to fashion it for bracelets and ornaments for women. And he showed them concerning antimony and eye paint and all manner of precious stones and dyes. And the sons of men made them for themselves and for their daughters, and they transgressed and led the holy ones astray. See, and there was much godlessness on the earth, and they made their ways desolate. Shemihazar taught spells and the cutting of roots. Hermani taught sorcery for the loosing of spells and magic and skill. Barakel taught the signs of the lightning flashes. Kokabel taught the signs of the stars. Zekel taught the signs of the shooting stars. Artikov taught the signs of the earth. Shamsiel taught the signs of the sun. Sariel taught the signs of the moon. And they all began to reveal mysteries to their wives and to their children. And as men were perishing, the cry went up to heaven. 1 Enoch 8:1-4.
Indeed, some scholars propose an intriguing theory regarding the contents of the Book of Watchers, particularly in chapter 8. They suggest that the knowledge imparted by the fallen angels, or Watchers, in this chapter originates from a tradition entirely distinct from that of the preceding chapter. The previous section describes the union of mortal women with these Watchers, a narrative rich in its own right. This divergence in thematic content between the two chapters has led to a scholarly debate, with experts delving into the possibility that these sections draw from separate mythological or theological traditions. The contrast between the esoteric knowledge shared by the Watchers in chapter 8 and the earlier narrative of celestial human interactions underscores the complexity and layered nature of the text. The narrative in the Book of Watchers takes a dramatic turn as it introduces a crucial moment where the four archangels, Michael, Sariel, Raphael, and Gabriel, approach Yahweh. They convey the dire state of affairs on earth, emphasizing the gravity of the situation. In response to their alarming report, the Most High Yahweh takes decisive action. Yahweh dispatches Sariel with a vital mission to the son of Lamech. Sariel's message is one of both warning and instruction. He is to tell the son of Lamech to seek refuge, to hide himself, as a cataclysmic event is on the horizon. This event, as foretold by Sariel, is nothing less than the end of the world as they know it, a deluge so vast and overwhelming that it would lead to the destruction of all life and the complete inundation of the earth. Following this, Yahweh assigns another critical task to Raphael. Raphael's mission, although not detailed in this segment, is implied to be of significant importance, aligning with the overarching theme of divine intervention and the execution of Yahweh's will in response to the corruption and turmoil plaguing the earth. This sequence of events underscores the celestial hierarchy's active role in the unfolding divine plan and sets the stage for further developments in this complex and richly layered narrative.
To Raphael he said, "Go, Raphael, and bind Asael hand and foot, and cast him into the darkness, and make an opening in the wilderness that is in Dudael. Throw him there, and lay beneath him sharp and jagged stones, and cover him with darkness, and let him dwell there for an exceedingly long time. Cover up his face, and let him not see the light. And on the day of the great judgment, he will be led away to the burning conflagration, and heal the earth, which the watchers have desolated, and announce the healing of the earth, that the plague may be healed, and all the sons of men may not perish because of the mystery that the watchers told and taught their sons. And all the earth was made desolate by the deeds of the teaching of Asael, and over him write all the sins." 1 Enoch 4:8.
In a pivotal moment within the Book of Watchers, Yahweh decides to take decisive action against the Watchers and their offspring. To carry out this formidable task, Yahweh turns to Gabriel, one of the four archangels. Yahweh's decision to intervene directly and forcefully highlights the gravity of the situation created by the Watchers and their offspring on earth. This moment is significant as it demonstrates not only Yahweh's authority and power, but also the seriousness with which transgressions against the divine order are treated. Gabriel, known for his strength and loyalty, is thus chosen as the instrument of this divine retribution, marking a key point in the narrative where celestial justice is about to get executed.
"Go, Gabriel, to the bastards, to the half-breeds, to the sons of miscegenation, and destroy the sons of the Watchers from among the sons of men. Send them against one another in a war of destruction. Length of days they will not have, and no petition will be granted to their fathers in their behalf, that they should expect to live an everlasting life, nor even that each of them should live 500 years.
As the narrative in the Book of Watchers reaches a climatic point, Yahweh makes a momentous decision, sending Michael the archangel to execute a sweeping judgment. Michael, often portrayed as the mightiest and most formidable among the archangels, is entrusted with the grave task of bringing about total destruction to all the wicked on earth. This act signifies a turning point in the story where divine justice is no longer just a warning, but becomes an active, unstoppable force. The choice of Michael for this mission underscores the seriousness of the transgression. committed by the wicked and the extent of the response deemed necessary by Yahweh. It's a moment that vividly illustrates the theme of cosmic justice and the role of celestial beings as executors of the divine will, shaping the course of human history and the fate of the world. Michael's role as the harbinger of this ultimate judgment is a testament to his status and power within the celestial hierarchy.
Go, Michael, bind Shemihaza and the others with him, who have mated with the daughters of men, so that they were defiled by them in their uncleanness. And when their sons perish and they see the destruction of their beloved ones, bind them for 70 generations in the valleys of the earth, until the day of their judgment and consummation, until the everlasting judgment is consummated. Then they will be led away to the fiery abyss, and to the torture, and to the prison, where they will be confined forever. And everyone who is condemned and destroyed henceforth will be bound together with them until the consummation of their generation. Destroy all the spirits of the half-breeds and the sons of the watchers, because they have wronged men. 1 Enoch 10:11-15.
Did Enoch die or live? In the ancient and captivating text of 1 Enoch, starting from chapter 12, we stumble upon a tantalizing mystery worthy of a detective novel. The narrative hints that Enoch, the protagonist, was whisked away before a series of extraordinary events unfolded. The curious part? No one, not a single soul, knew where Enoch had vanished to, or what fate had befallen him. This enigma has been a puzzle for scholars and storytellers alike, each weaving their own interpretation. While some suggest Enoch was perhaps taken away while still very much alive, the text leaves us with more questions than answers, inviting us into a world of ancient mysteries and divine intrigue. Enoch, a figure shrouded in ancient mystery, lived a remarkably brief 365 years, a mere blip compared to his long-lived contemporaries in the antediluvian world. Intriguingly, his lifespan mirrors the number of days in a solar year, sparking a fusion of scholarly curiosity and mystical speculation. This numerical coincidence has led some to suggest that Enoch held the keys to a true calendar, perfectly in sync with the solar cycle. The enigmatic phrase, "Enoch walked with God," adds to the aura of mystery surrounding him. This phrase has opened a Pandora's box of interpretations. Some propose that Elohim, typically understood as a reference to a single deity, might in this context indicate a pantheon of gods or celestial beings. This interpretation paints Enoch as a cosmic voyager traversing the heavens under the guidance of these celestial entities, and in the process acquiring esoteric knowledge, including the secrets of a solar-aligned calendar. However, there's a more down-to-earth interpretation as well. Some view this phrase as a metaphor for Enoch's righteous life, a life so exemplary that it was as if he walked alongside divinity itself. Adding to this interpretive tapestry is the Septuagint, the ancient Greek translation of the Hebrew scriptures, which nuances our understanding by stating that Enoch pleased God. This subtle linguistic twist opens up a new dimensions in our understanding of Enoch's relationship with the divine, presenting it as not just one of proximity, but of active, pleasing engagement. Each of these interpretations, celestial and earthly, contributes to the enduring enigma and allure of Enoch's character. The enigma of Enoch intensifies with the account of his sudden disappearance. Central to this mystery is the repeated motif of his intimate communion with God, culminating in the cryptic declaration, "He was not, for he was taken by God." This phrase has ignited a spectrum of interpretations, notably the theory that Enoch was elevated to heaven in a divine rapture, an idea echoed in the story of the prophet Elijah. Yet there's a contrasting thread in various traditions suggesting that Enoch's end was, in fact, mortal. Theories range from a tranquil passing to a demise as retribution for hypocrisy, painting a complex picture of his final chapter. The Septuagint, with its characteristic subtlety, adds another layer to this puzzle by stating he was not found because God translated him. The choice of the word translate here is intriguingly ambiguous. It could simply signify relocation, as depicted in the Book of Jubilees, where Enoch is repositioned to Eden to serve as an eternal priest. However, this view is muddied by suggestions of his physical death in the same narrative. In Hellenistic Jewish philosophy, this translation might imply a more profound metamorphosis, a shift from a tangible existence to an ethereal, immortal state. Philo of Alexandria, an influential thinker in this tradition, conjectured that Enoch's death was not an end, but a transformation into an incorporeal eternal being. This concept aligns with beliefs of Enoch ascending to an angelic existence. Interestingly, Philo extends this transformative idea to other biblical figures like Moses and Elijah, envisioning their physical forms evolving into pure spirit. Adding another dimension, the Book of Wisdom in the Septuagint discusses a righteous man, presumably Enoch, who meets an early death yet finds serenity. This text subtly hints that Enoch's departure from the mortal world was not punitive, but an act of divine compassion, sparing him from the moral decay of his era. It highlights a complex interplay of life, death, and divine benevolence woven into the enigmatic narrative of Enoch. Enoch, sent to the Watchers. Enoch's role in the ancient narrative takes a dramatic turn as he is seemingly appointed in a manner akin to that of the four archangels, tasked with a grave and solemn duty. He is to deliver a message of judgment to the Watchers, celestial beings who abandoned their heavenly posts and engaged in forbidden relationships with human women. This transgression, according to the narrative, led to their profound fall from grace. Yahweh entrusts Enoch with a stark and unyielding message for these Watchers.
They will have no peace or forgiveness.
The consequence of their actions is severe and irrevocable. The Watchers are condemned to witness the demise of their beloved offspring, resulting in an endless cycle of grief and remorse. Enoch, in his role as a divine messenger, conveys this judgment to Azazel, the leader of the Watchers, and addresses all the fallen beings collectively. The reaction of the Watchers is one of utter terror and desperation. Realizing the gravity of their situation, they implore Enoch to intercede on their behalf. In a poignant display of their fall from grace, they are unable to even speak or lift their gaze to heaven. Overwhelmed by shame for their deeds, they beseech Enoch to draft a memorandum, a plea for forgiveness, to be presented to Yahweh, hoping for a chance at redemption. Enoch takes on the role of an intermediary, writing down each Watcher's plea. He presents their cases individually, a process he undertakes in the land of Dan, located to the south of Mount Hermon. This act of advocacy, however, is marked by a sense of futility, as the narrative suggests that Enoch's efforts culminate in a state of exhaustion, leading him to fall asleep. This part of Enoch's tale underscores themes of divine justice, the irreversible consequences of certain actions, and the complex dynamics of intercession between the divine and the fallen.
And look, dreams came upon me, and visions fell upon me. And I saw visions of wrath. And there came a voice saying, "Speak to the sons of heaven to reprimand them." And when I had awakened, I went to them, and all of them were assembled together, and they were sitting and weeping at Abel-Maim, which is between Lebanon and Senir, covering their faces. And I recited in their presence all the visions that I had seen in the dream. And I began to speak the words of truth and the vision and reprimand to the Watchers of heaven. Van Enoch 13:8-10.
And it begins.
The book of the words of truth and the reprimand of the Watchers who were from of old, according to the command of the great Holy One. In this vision I saw in my dream what I now speak with a human tongue and with the breath of my mouth, which the Great One has given to humans, to speak with them and to understand with the heart. As he created and destined humans to understand the words of knowledge, so he created and destined me to reprimand the Watchers, the sons of heaven. I wrote up your petition, and in the vision it was shown to me thus, that you will not obtain your petition for all the days of eternity. But judgment has been consummated in the decree against you, that from now on you will not ascend into heaven for all the ages. And it has been decreed to bind you in bonds in the earth for all the days of eternity. And that before these things you will see the destruction of your sons, your beloved ones, and that you will have no pleasure in them, but they will fall before you by the sword. Accordingly, you will not obtain your petition concerning them, nor concerning yourselves. You will be petitioning and making supplication, but you will not be speaking any word from the writing that I have written. 1 Enoch 14:1-7.
Enoch's journey takes on even more awe-inspiring turn as he ascends through the various heavens, unveiling the grandeur of God's celestial creations. This part of the narrative blends vivid imagery reminiscent of the poetic descriptions found in the Book of Job, with its detailed portrayal of the elemental forces like lightning, rain, thunder, and fire, all meticulously stored in their divine storehouses. Additionally, there's a striking resemblance to the Book of Revelation's depiction of Jesus, portrayed with the radiant and majestic qualities of the Ancient of Days, his appearance surpassing the whiteness of snow and the brightness of the sun. In this celestial realm, Enoch finds himself in the overwhelming presence of the great glory, presumably Yahweh, seated upon his throne. This scene is painted on a canvas of unimaginable scale and splendor, with 10,000 times 10,000 heavenly watchers or angels standing in attendance. It's a moment that captures the essence of divine majesty and the hierarchical order of the heavens. Amidst this grand assembly, Enoch, now referred to as the Scribe of Truth, a title underscoring his role as a recorder and conveyor of divine wisdom, is called upon by Yahweh God. This moment signifies a profound interaction between the divine and the human, with Enoch being asked to listen to the voice of God. This part of Enoch's narrative not only emphasizes his unique status as a human who's able to traverse the heavenly realms and stand in the divine presence, but also highlights the theme of revelation and the imparting of divine knowledge and truth. The scene sets the stage for a significant exchange, one that presumably imparts to Enoch, and through him to humanity, profound insights into the workings of the divine realm and its impact on the human world.
Go and say to the watchers of heaven who sent you to petition in their behalf, you should petition in behalf of humans, and not humans in behalf of you. Why have you forsaken the high heaven, the eternal sanctuary, and lain with women, and defiled yourselves with the daughters of men, and taken for yourselves wives, and done as the sons of earth, and begotten for yourselves sons, giants? You were holy ones and spirits, living forever. With the blood of women you have defiled yourselves, and with the blood of flesh you have begotten, and with the blood of men you have lusted, and you have done as they do, flesh and blood, who die and perish. Therefore I gave them women, that they might cast seed into them, and thus beget children by them, that nothing fail them on the earth. But you originally existed as spirits, living forever, and not dying for all the generations of eternity. Therefore I did not make women among you. The spirits of heaven, in heaven is their dwelling. But now the giants who were begotten by the spirits and flesh, they will call them evil spirits on the earth, for their dwelling will be on the earth. The spirits that have gone forth from the body of their flesh are evil spirits. For from humans they came into being, and from the holy watchers was the origin of their creation. Evil spirits they will be on the earth, and evil spirits they will be called. The spirits of heaven, in heaven is their dwelling. But the spirits begotten on the earth is their dwelling. And the spirits of the giants do violence, make desolate, and attack, and wrestle, and hurl upon the earth. And they eat nothing, but abstain from food, and are thirsty, and smite. These spirits will rise up against the sons of men, and against the women. For they have come forth from them, from the day of the slaughter and destruction, and death of the giants. From the soul of whose flesh the spirits are proceeding, they are making desolate without incurring judgment. Thus they will make desolate until the day of the consummation of the great judgment, when the great age will be consummated. It will be consummated all at once. And now say to the watchers who sent you to petition in their behalf, who formerly were in heaven, you were in heaven, and no mystery was revealed to you, but a stolen mystery you learned, and this you made known to the women in your hardness of heart. And through this mystery the women and men are multiplying evils on the earth. Say to them, you will have no peace. But Enoch 15:2-16-4.
Enoch's celestial odyssey continues as he is ushered into an even more expansive realm, tasked with beholding the entire entirety of the creation. This segment of the narrative elevates Enoch to a vantage point view, if any, humans have ever reached, allowing him to witness the intricate and profound mechanics of the universe. He is shown the treasuries of all the winds, suggesting a glimpse into the storehouses of nature's most powerful and untamed forces. Enoch also observes the very foundation of the earth, a glimpse into the core elements that constitute and stabilize our world, including its cornerstone, a symbol of the earth's origin and sustaining force. The narrative further expands into the ethereal realm as Enoch witnesses the winds of heaven, possibly denoting the spiritual or metaphysical forces at play in the higher realms. He sees the winds of the earth, which might represent the natural and physical forces governing our terrestrial environment. Enoch is then guided along the paths of the angels, indicating a journey through the routes traversed by these celestial beings, possibly hinting at the interconnectedness of the heavenly and earthly domains. He views the ends of the earth, perhaps a reference to the farthest boundaries of the physical world, and the firmament of heaven above, alluding to the celestial dome or expanse that separates the earthly realm from the heavens. Following this grand tour of the cosmos and its workings, the narrative transitions to a crucial section that may provide insights into the origin of the fallen angels myth. This part of Enoch's journey marks a shift from the exploration of the natural and celestial order to the unveiling of a more complex and dramatic aspect of angelic lore. The story thus far, with its vast cosmic scope and detailed depiction of the heavenly hierarchy, sets the stage for an exploration into the more enigmatic and controversial aspects of angelic existence and their interactions with the human world.
I came and saw a place that was burning night and day, where there were 7 mountains of precious stones, 3 lying to the east and 3 to the south. And of those to the east, 1 was of colored stone, and 1 was of pearl, and 1 was of and those to the south were of flame-colored stone. And the middle one of them reached to heaven like the throne of God, of antimony, and the top of the throne was of lapis lazuli. And I saw a burning fire. And beyond these mountains is a place, the edge of the great earth. There the heavens come to an end. And I saw a great chasm among pillars of heavenly fire. And I saw in it pillars of fire descending, and they were immeasurable toward the depth and toward the height. And Uriel said to me, there stand the angels who mingled with the women, and their spirits, having assumed many forms, bring destruction on men, and lead them astray to sacrifice to demons, as to gods until the day of the great judgment, in which they will be judged with finality, and the weaves of the transgressing angles will become sirens. Beyond this chasm I saw a place where there was neither firmament of heaven above, nor firmly founded earth beneath it, neither was there water on it, nor bird, but the place was desolate and fearful. There I saw 7 stars, like great burning mountains. To me, when I inquired about them, the angel said, this place is the end of heaven and earth. This has become a prison for the stars and the hosts of heaven. The stars that are rolling over in the fire, these are they that transgress the command of the Lord in the beginning of their rising. For they did not come out in their appointed time, and he was angry with them and bound them until the time of the consummation of their sins. 10,000 years. I, Enoch, alone saw the visions, the extremities of all things, and no one among humans has seen as I saw. Was Enoch 18:6-19:3.
Allow me to present a captivating ensemble. A combo of celestial custodians known as archangels or watchers, each tasked with overseeing a distinct cosmic domain. First, we have Uriel, the steward of Earth in the shadowy realms of Tartarus. Raphael, a guardian angel presiding over the spirits of humanity, a role both solemn and profound. Ruel, a figure of retribution, exacts vengeance upon the world of luminaries, celestial bodies embroiled in an eternal dance of light and shadow. Michael stands as the protector of the virtuous, a beacon for the righteous souls. Sariel, a watchful sentinel, oversees those spirits who dare to defy the spirit, a role demanding both wisdom and discernment. Gabriel, a custodian of paradise, holds dominion over both serpents and cherubim, a role as enigmatic as it is essential. Lastly, we have Remiel, a guide for those who rise, a role steeped in mystery and awe. Together, these archangels form a pantheon of guardianship, each playing a pivotal role in the cosmic ballet of existence. These may be later adaptations of angels, which in earlier forms like in Genesis 6 with sons of God, and earlier, let us make man in our own image, gods. This author may be writing later, which changes them from gods to angels, but their roles are very similar in the pantheon. The passage from the latter part of the Book of Watchers, spanning chapters 21 to 36, indeed evokes a tapestry of apocalyptic and esoteric imagery, reminiscent of the Book of Revelation and the visionary accounts of an author that I read when I was younger, Mary K. Baxter, with all her revelations, hell, heaven, etc. In this segment, Enoch embarks on a profound journey, traversing realms both dreadful and divine. His odyssey begins with a visit to the abode of the fallen angels, those disobedient stars now imprisoned, a stark reminder of the consequences of celestial defiance. This aspect of the narrative prompts contemplation about the original intent of these punishments. Were they exclusively meant for the Watchers, or did they extend to humanity as well? The ensuing passages, however, seem to challenge this notion. Enoch's journey leads him to the mountain of the dead, a place of profound significance. Here, the spirit of Abel, the first victim of fratricide, cries out for justice against his brother Cain, until Cain's lineage vanishes from the earth. This mountain, as revealed by the angel Raphael, is partitioned into 3 distinct sections, one for the spirits of the righteous and the other 2 for varying degrees of sinners. These areas serve as holding grounds until the final day of judgment, where eternal curses are pronounced, linking back to the initial chapters of the Book of the Watchers. Following this, Enoch encounters the fire of the west, an unceasing inferno pursuing the celestial bodies. This element of relentless pursuit and judgment parallels apocalyptic themes found in other religious texts. In the next scene, with Michael the Archangel, Enoch is introduced to a striking vision of 7 mountains, with the central one towering majestically, akin to a regal throne. Amidst these mountains, a variety of trees are present, yet one, in particular, captivates Enoch with its unparalleled aroma. Michael's forthcoming revelation about this tree adds yet another layer to the mystique and symbolism prevalent throughout Enoch's journey. These vivid descriptions and the journey's progression weave together themes of judgment, redemption, and the cosmic order, echoing the broader narrative found in apocalyptic literature and offering rich material for theological, philosophical exploration.
Enoch, why do you inquire? And why do you marvel about the fragrance of this tree? And why do you wish to learn the truth? 25. Then I answered him, I, Enoch, and said, concerning all things I wish to know, but especially concerning this tree. And he answered me and said, this high mountain that you saw, whose peak is like the throne of God, is the seat where the great Holy One, the Lord of glory, the King of eternity, will sit when he descends to visit the earth in goodness. And as for this fragrant tree, no flesh has the right to touch it until the great judgment, in which there will be vengeance on all and a consummation forever. Then it will be given to the righteous and the pious, and its fruit will be food for the chosen, and it will be transplanted to the holy place by the house of God, the King of eternity. Then they will rejoice greatly and be glad, and they will enter into the sanctuary. Its fragrance is in their bones, and they will live a long life on the earth, such as your fathers lived also in their days, and torments and plagues and suffering will not touch them. 1 Enoch 24:6, 26:6.
As Enoch's journey continues, he is led to behold Jerusalem, depicted as the center of the earth, a place intertwined with themes of divine justice and punishment. This part of his vision is presented by Sariel, an archangel who embodies the gravitas of such a significant locale. The depiction of Jerusalem in this context aligns with its emblematic role in many religious traditions, representing a nexus of spiritual and earthly matters. Following this, Enoch's odyssey takes a transformative turn as he is ushered into the paradise of righteousness. This utopian realm contrasts sharply with the earlier scenes of judgment and retribution. Here, he encounters the tree of wisdom, a symbol rich in meaning and resonance. This tree, from which the holy ones partake to gain profound wisdom, embodies the pursuit of knowledge and the divine enlightenment that follows. Enoch's reaction to the tree, particularly noting its beauty, underscores the allure and significance of spiritual insight. Gabriel, another archangel of great renown, accompanies Enoch in this segment of his vision. Gabriel's presence and forthcoming commentary add depth to the narrative, offering insights into the nature of the celestial paradise and the tree of wisdom. His words are likely to reveal further layers of spiritual understanding and symbolism, tying together the themes of knowledge, righteousness, and divine revelation. This journey, as described in the latter chapters of the Book of Watchers, is rich in symbolic imagery and theological themes. It mirrors the human quest for understanding, contrasting the consequences of sin with the rewards of righteousness, and intertwines the earthly with the divine, offering a complex tapestry of spiritual exploration. The Archangel Gabriel says,
"This is the tree of wisdom from which your father of old and your mother of old, who were before you, ate and learned wisdom. And their eyes were opened, and they knew that they were naked, and they were driven from the garden." 1 Enoch 32:6.
Enoch's journey, as narrated in the Book of the Watchers, is indeed a profound and expansive exploration that takes him to the farthest reaches and the very extremities of the earth. His travels are not just physical, but deeply spiritual and symbolic, traversing the entirety of creation, north, west, south, and east. Each direction offers its own revelations and experiences, contributing to the overarching narrative of divine judgment, wisdom, and the cosmic order. This odyssey to the four corners of the earth embodies a quest for understanding the divine plan and the nature of the universe. It's a journey that transcends the literal, venturing into realms of metaphysical significance and spiritual introspection. Enoch's experiences along the way, from witnessing the fate of fallen angels to the paradise of righteousness, encapsulate a broad spectrum of theological and eschatological concepts. The culmination of Enoch's journey, with a blessing to the Lord of Glory, serves as a fitting conclusion to the Book of the Watchers. This act of reverence and acknowledgement of divine sovereignty is a profound affirmation of Enoch's experiences and the lessons learned throughout his journey. It reflects a deep sense of humility and devotion, recognizing the overarching power and wisdom of the divine as the author sees fit. The Book of the Watchers, therefore, is not just a narrative of celestial journeys and apocalyptic visions. It's a rich, layered text that offers insights into ancient beliefs about angels, the cosmos, and the relationship between divine and humanity. Enoch's travels and the revelations he receives are a testament to the enduring human quest for understanding the mysteries of existence and the divine plan. One more note about the history of the Book of Enoch's acceptance and rejection in various religious traditions, and it's a complex and fascinating subject. From the Jewish perspective, the Book of Enoch, despite its rich narratives and influence on early Jewish thought, was ultimately excluded from the formal canon of the Tanakh, the Hebrew Bible, and the Septuagint, Greek translation of the Hebrew Bible. This exclusion also led to its absence from the deuterocanonical books, which are accepted in some Christian traditions, but not in the Jewish canon. The primary reason for its exclusion from the Jewish canon is the inconsistency of its teachings with those of the Torah, the central reference of Jewish law and theology. In Rabbinic Judaism, the book is often viewed as heretical. A notable example of this inconsistency is the mention of the angel Phanuel in 1 Enoch 40:1-10. Phanuel, not found in other scriptures, is described as presiding over repentance and eternal life. Some interpret this as a reference to Jesus Christ, particularly given that Phanuel translates to the face of God, which would be in direct conflict with mainstream Jewish teachings. Additionally, the textual nature of early sections of the Book of Enoch, which appear to reinterpret or expand upon material from the Torah, such as 1 Enoch 1 being a midrash of Deuteronomy 33, might have contributed to its rejection. The detailed accounts of fallen angels, topic that was contentious and seen as inconsistent with the perceived sanctity of God's utterances, further fueled its exclusion. This perspective is exemplified in the debates between Trypho the Jew and Justin Martyr, where Trypho criticizes the Christian interpretations of such texts. The Christian perspective: in early Christianity, the status of the Book of Enoch varied. By the 5th century, it was mostly excluded from Christian biblical canons. However, it was considered scripture in the Epistle of Barnabas and revered by many early church fathers, including Athenagoras, Clement of Alexandria, Irenaeus, and Tertullian. Around 200 AD, Tertullian argued that the Book of Enoch had been rejected by Jews because it contained prophecies about Christ, which is a reflection of the divergent views on this text between Jewish and Christian communities. The Book of Enoch's influence on early Christian thought is undeniable, but its eventual marginalization in the mainstream Christian canon reflects the complex processes of canon formation and the differing theological priorities of early Jewish and Christian communities. Next, the Book of Parables. Thank you for accompanying me on this enlightening journey through the Book of Watchers, a captivating section of the ancient Book of Enoch. Our exploration has delved into the enigmatic world of early Jewish mysticism, uncovering tales of fallen angels, hidden celestial knowledge, the genesis of demonic entities, and awe-inspiring visions of divine judgment. I hope this voyage into the legendary narrative surrounding Enoch and the Watchers has been as intriguing for you as it has been for me, but our quest doesn't end here. The Book of Enoch holds more secrets waiting to be unraveled in its subsequent sections. If you found this exploration engaging, I invite you to subscribe and activate the notification bell. Join me on future excursions into the depths of ancient religious texts as we endeavor to illuminate these esoteric scriptures and trace their enduring influence across millennia. Your likes and comments are greatly appreciated. They fuel our discussions and explorations. Share your thoughts, insights, or any questions that linger in your mind. Your perspective is a valuable part of this journey. For those who wish to support further research and the production of more in-depth documentaries, consider becoming a member of our YouTube community or supporting us on Patreon. Your contributions enable me to devote more time and resources to uncovering these profound narratives. As we conclude this episode, I eagerly anticipate our next adventure, where we will delve into the Book of Parables, continuing our exploration of the Enochian texts. Together, we'll unearth the origins of ancient stories that continue to shape our understanding of the world. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to our next meeting in the enthralling world of myth and legend. Remember, we are all part of this journey, and we are MythVision.